Ladies and gentle gamers, welcome back to Be Determined. In today's video, we're going to be going over the brand new museum update, which has dropped on the main server. It's pretty similar to the way it was on the alpha server, but there's a few things that I missed in that video that I'm going to go over here. So if you guys end up enjoying the video, please make sure to drop a like on it, smash the sub button if you haven't already. We're super close to 17k subs, so it'd really help out a lot. But let's jump straight into it. Alright, so same as last time, if we warp over to the museum, you'll notice that the stairs are a bit longer than they were. There's not this little stand that was over here that Madam Eleanor was at. She's over here now, and the museum curator is now all the way down here. You can talk to him, and he has a little bit of dialogue that he says, nothing too crazy though. But as you can see, the museum now has 478 total items, which is a solid amount more than it had yesterday. And if we go ahead and go through, you can see some of the new items that they added. The aspect of the Jerry is in the weapons section now, the Celeste one, the Squire sword, the tribal spear is here too. There's also a couple new armor sets with the Squire armor being added, the Celeste armor, and Rosetta's armor as well. But most of the new items are in the rarity section, where they've added like all of the different heads. They changed their names to hats now. They also added a bunch of the different pickaxes and things from the early game, the rookie axe, efficient axe, promising axe, the rookie pickaxe. They've got the Frosty, the snow cannon. They've got a bunch of the fishing rods in here as well, and also the masks from the carnival. But let's go over some of the big expensive items that are super duper noticeable, starting off with the diamond heads. All of the diamond heads are in the museum now, and they do have a different change to them. Even if you don't add them to museum, they are now soulbound. So if we go ahead and look up diamond heads on the auction house, for example, Diamond Necron, you can see there are some of them on the auction house, but at the bottom it says that they are soulbound, and these were started before today's update and sold for very high amounts. So if you don't buy one of these before these auctions are over, you're going to have to go ahead and grind all the way to maxed out Necron collection to be able to buy your own. But don't worry, if you're one of the people who has sold your Diamond Necron head, it's okay, you can get it back. Just like most soulbound items, we can warp over to the gold mine, and if we go over and talk to Rusty right here, you'll see he has all of the gold heads that you've unlocked here, and all of the diamond heads that you've unlocked. I have 2 missing, so there's only 5 here, but you can get the diamond heads for 10 mil, and you can get the gold heads for 20 mil. And of course, in other items, the Devon's drill has now been added to the museum. Another very expensive item that we're all going to have to get if we want to max it out. But that is another topic, which is that you now have to get all the items to get the max XP from museum. So maxing museum just for SkyBlock XP is a lot more expensive than it was. And even the early game players kind of have to worry about this now because of the new museum milestones. As you can see, there are 30 milestones and a total of 2.7k XP to be gained from this. And most of the milestones consist of bits, bonuses, and bank interest. Every single milestone has this at their base, but then different milestones have different auction bid limits, with museum milestone 2 having the first one at 100 mil. Also, the deluxe bank upgrades are in here as well, and you get the museum appraisal service at museum milestone 3, so you can see the price of your museum items and how much it's worth. But the big one that people are generally interested in is the hex, which you unlock at museum milestone 8. Personally, I feel like the hex shouldn't have any requirements whatsoever. I don't see the problem with having early game players being able to access it, just so they can see what kind of upgrades they can put on their armor in the future. But it's locked behind 800 SkyBlock XP worth of museum donations. That is how these milestones work. Every 100 museum XP that you've gotten is going to unlock a new milestone. So it gets pretty crazy when you think about the fact that you can't bid 1 billion coins until you've done 1100 XP. And if you want to buy a Hyperion straight from the auction house, you're going to have at least 1400 XP worth of soulbound items. Now, if you do this super efficiently and donate like all the right items, all the cheapest items, I don't think it's going to cost more than like 500 million. But realistically, it's probably going to cost more for a lot of people, because you're probably not going to donate only the most effective items. You're also going to have to donate some of your good items that you're going to be using. Like, for example, it might be cheaper for you to donate the Frosty the Howitzer, but that costs like 20 million coins right now, and you'd rather have a Necron armor set. So instead you donate the Necron armor set, which again, you can see the different amount of SkyBlock XP that each one of these rewards gives. So you can kind of base it off of that, but it's still going to be ridiculously expensive to max out the museum, and it's still going to be pretty expensive to get to the point where you can buy a Hyperion off of the auction house. But I did kind of skim over the new rewards. The bits bonus and 2% bank interest is super helpful. I'm at milestone 25 and I'm set to get nearly 900,000 interest, whereas I would normally be getting 500,000 before this update. So it is a pretty big amount of interest increase, and it's also a very large amount of bits that get added. It does act retroactively, the bits bonus that you get from the milestones. So since I've got 2 years of cookie buffs that I've used in the past, I've got almost 400,000 bits available. And if you've bought any SkyBlock gems or bought any skins like that, you could have even millions of bits available. So a lot of people are just complaining about this update, saying it's bad, and I don't completely disagree. But there are some pros, so at least we're getting more interest and more bits. But some of you may have had items in the special section of your museum. For instance, I had my aspect of the Jerry locked over here and a couple other items that I didn't really use. But if you go to your island, it will have returned those to you if they go in a different section of the museum. So aspect of the Jerry goes in the weapon section of the museum now. So whenever I logged in, Jerry had a new delivery for me. So I was able to claim that and go ahead and throw that in the main section of the museum that it's supposed to go in now. But you may have had an item like I did, the magma bow, that is no longer in museum because it's no longer obtainable, and it seems like the admins don't intend on making it obtainable again in the future. So I have this co-op soulbound magma bow now. Maybe you've got a co-op soulbound magma armor set or also a magma bow that is no longer in museum, but you can't really do anything with it, so it's kind of just stuck here. I wish they would have handled that differently, but oh well. They did a few more QOL things with this as well, so you can now see the extra details of your items if you want to. So I can say I donated this today, made it today, and its clean value is 5 coins and how much XP it gave me. Or I can just turn all of that stuff off, so now it just shows how much XP it gave me and none of that extra stuff. So it'll help stop cluttering up your menu if you want that. But another QOL is that they did add in some more fame ranks for the bit stuff. So if you've bought a ton of cookies and you had the max fame rank, your fame rank may have increased, which would definitely help with having a lot more bits available. A lot of people's SkyBlock level has gone down because of this update, myself included. And that's just because they removed a lot of the SkyBlock XP from the museum. It just in total gives like 2 less levels or something. So it is going to be worse for SkyBlock XP, but it costs more to max now. So you're paying more for less XP, which is kind of a rip, but that's how it is now. I know there were a lot of people like myself hoping that this was going to be the Rift update. 4-hour maintenance for this tiny museum update seems kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but they did add a bunch of new Rift items to the backend API. I've heard about a new talisman and also the time charm, but that's just on the backend API. We don't really know what the items look like or their recipes or anything like that, but it does seem like the maintenance was impartially part due to the Rift update, so at least they're making progress on that. But also, the Great Spook Festival is coming soon. If you go into your SkyBlock menu, you can see in the calendar section, the Great Spook event is happening in 3 days, and it's going to last for 2 weeks just like last year. So when that drops, I'll be making a full-length video on that. They talked about a lot of this stuff in the patch notes, and I made a video talking about how it looked on the alpha, but they still haven't said anything about the Great Hunt that goes on every SkyBlock year during the Great Spook. So hopefully there's new items this year. I don't see why they wouldn't do them, but they've also been really quiet about it, so there is a chance that we don't get a hunt this year. But I think that would be a really missed opportunity, so hopefully we do get one. But that is all that I have for you guys today. So again, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, smash the sub button. We're on our way to 17K subs, and thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. God bless.